Hello everyone, Pierce Station here. Today we're going to be going over my actual deck profile for the YCS version of my deck, Drytron, in the 2022 format. And this deck is very powerful still to this day. The Drytron Menace is known as one of the best decks to ever hit Yu-Gi-Oh! And as for good reason, it's a strong staple, and you guys will see why when I start going over this deck in full details. This is the different version that I have on my channel in both. The first one's closer to it, but it's not as powerful nor as fast as this one. Or this one, it has all the monsters you need. It's Omni Negate, so you set up your negates, you load your board, and you shut your opponent completely out. I'll go over not only the deck combos, and what to do in certain situations. The only situations where this deck is not going to thrive and survive is against Forbidden Droplet, Dark Ruler No More, and one called something Fangs. It has the goblins on the front of it, but that one, it can't. Those three cards, you can't negate. So, with that being said, this deck is still, to this day, very, very powerful. The extra deck is what fuels this deck. But it doesn't mean everything. Because Drytron has cards that can't be negated. And they do. Most of them are rituals, but they can't be negated. Which is great. Like I said, I am going to be going over this. This isn't just like a one-off or something. No, I'm going to be going over the deck profile, which is the same damn thing, the combos you can do, how to get out of certain situations. But those three cards, in those situations, you really can't get out of. When you're kaiju'd, it is not the worst thing in the world. Do not panic, because this deck will help you. So, without further ado, I'd say we're going to get on with the deck profile and show you what I'm actually running. It's going to be quite amazing for you guys, so just give me just a minute. So again, guys, we are back, and we are going to go over the Drytron deck profile for the 2022 format. And starting us off, of course, we're going to run 3 of Thubbin. Thubbin is a staple in the deck. You really get your ritual monsters to your hand very fast, and then you could pop off these Drytron cards that way. You're going to run 3 of Audubon. Audubon gets you your ritual spell. Again, very, very good. With Thubbin, if you pop those black off back to back, you can use the ritual monster for that. I am running 3 for Gamma. Gamma is your graveyard puller, and he could set up your Xyz place, or he could hit for game by putting a Drytron in attack mode once you special summon. We're gonna run 2 Altaz. Altaz, once you get your ritual spell or ritual monster, you can reveal it and then draw another card, which is very lethal in a game where you don't really have that much time. I'm going to run 2 of Rostabon. Rostabon is your banishment puller. When things get banished, you can bring them back to the graveyard, which is great. And that's the last normal effect Drytron I have. And now we're going to get into my staple in this deck, the Diviner. Run Diviner into 3. She'll get you your ritual spell. If you send the Herald of Arclight, if there's 3, so the other one I use is in test for that, so I can pop a card. Run 2 Artifact and Modular. Again, it's just used for obvious reasons, and we'll get into that here in a second. These are set up for negate plays. Run 2 Chakram. You could run any of the artifacts for this. It doesn't really matter. I like to use them because they can be used for support if they get popped as a back row, which they can be set, so it's even better. And I run 1 Artifact of Lancia. I have multiple of this, but again, just for the sake, you don't have to have the Artifact of Lancia. And for this deck, you know, as it's limited, I'm going to run 1 Eva. Eva is still very, very good in today's format for this deck. Okay, so now we're going to get into my ritual monsters now. I'm still going to run 2 Queritus. Queritus is your Harpy Feather Duster every single turn. I would advise you run that card. You're going to run 2 of Dragness. Dragness is your 4K beater that can't be targeted, and that gets to hit every special summon monster on the field, which today there's a lot of cards getting special summoned, so gonna love that there, but more than likely this won't happen because of the next card I have. I'm running the Herald of Ultimiteness. That's why all these fairies are in this deck, and there are more. The Herald of Ultimiteness is going to be used to start negating things. And if we add them up, I got 2 there. Let's see. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You should relatively have about 11 negates. So, and you say, well, how do you get the fairies to your hand? Well, allow me to explain. These next 2 are going to make it pretty damn easy. This is item 10. The item 10 is on. You can power up the Herald of Ultimiteness by continuously sending her to the graveyard and ritual summoning her. It's pretty effective how that works. Again, it's very, very good. And this is how you get the fairies. 1 Cyber Angel Benton. Benton is limited again, so you can only use it once, but she will get the fairies to your hand and then set up your negates. And then you can use Eva to get some of those fairies back. Okay, so we're going to run Terraforming for obvious reasons. You want your field spell to hand, especially with Drytron. You're going to run 3 Drytron Fafnir. Fafnir, put that on. As long as you control a ritual monster, ritual spells, and the effects of ritual monsters cannot be negated. So, yeah. Very powerful there. I'm going to run 2 of Drytron Nova. Drytron Nova, again, if I had a 3rd, I'd probably run it, but it just special summons your Drytron monster straight from the deck, which is very handy in this deck. Again, I'd like to have 3 of this, but Drytron, menace, running at 2 because I can keep getting spell back to my hand. I'm going to run 3 Cyber Emergency. Cyber Emergency is very good in my deck. It's one of my biggest plays. Again, you're just getting Drytron monsters off that. Drytron Eclipse. If let's say you got 1 in the graveyard and you're really trying to get your Aquarius or Dragonus on, you could just send 1 back to hand and activate the spell, and you're right into what you need to go to. In this version of the deck, I run 1 Usardic Drytron. That's to get into the extra deck. When Alpha Thubbin is on, you banish Drytron Fafnir, and you're ready to go. I'm going to run an Instant Fusion for Intis. Again, this is a good way to do it too. There's multiple ways to get her to the graveyard, honestly. And then you're going to run 1 Called by the Grave. Again, your Herald of Ultimiteness is going to be negating everything, so running Called by the Grave is really going to help you because you can only run it into 1, and the Herald basically does everything else. So as you know, that is the main deck. Now for the extra deck, again, it's a little different, so let me start off with the fusion monsters. Again, you're going to run Elder Antithesis. Very good card. You can use it to pop. I've told you multiple ways of how you can do that. And you're going to run 1 Ultimate Flagship Urstron. This is to get your Drytron monsters, and it can pull it back from banishment as well. And it has 2,000 attack, so with Gamma, you can bring this card right back. So, very handy. That's all the fusion monsters I run in this deck. For the Synchros, you're only going to run 2 for obvious reasons, and they're both going to be the Herald of the Arclight. Arclight, get ritual spell, ritual monster once this card's sent to the graveyard, which you can do that with the Herald of the Diviner, which is very handy. That's the reason she's one of the best cards in this deck and why everybody wants her. And I think she goes for anywhere from $40 to $60 pop. You're going to run for your links. Link Karibo. Link Karibo is one of the best cards in this deck once you get so far in the game and you've got an extra Drytron monster that you really don't need. Going to Link Karibo is going to make things a little bit harder. You're going to go Nightmare Phoenix as well. You can send a card back to hand. You're going to go Nightmare Unicorn, discard a card, you can pop a card, and you're going to go Appaloosa, or you can go Access Code Talker, whichever one you have. I've always used Appaloosa, so I'm going to go with her until I get Access Code Talker. I feel like that's the best thing for me to do. that's all the links I run in this deck. So we're gonna get to my Xyz cards, and for this is a little bit different. Beatrice, Lady of the Eternal, is one of my best Xyz cards. You're gonna run Kingetsu, Fucho, gain very good, and you're gonna run one Mubeta Fafner. Mubeta is very good. Wish I had a second version of that. I'd get rid of this. That's honestly what I would do with it. Then for the last four, you're gonna run Zeus, the Divine Arsenal, Lyrilusk, Symboled Nightgale, number FO Utopic Future, and you're going to run number FO Utopic Dragonic Future. Dragonic Future is the ultimate deck master in this extra deck, and with the Herald of Ultimiteness in this card, you can't go wrong. That's even more negates. And if you can stack this right like I do, it's going to be a nightmare for your opponent. So with that being said, I'm going to get the cards all shuffled up nice and neat here, and I'm going to show you the deck combos that you can do, and they're all going to be within 3 turns, because I'm trying to do this before work, so you guys get this and you guys know how this works. Okay, so I will be right back. Alright, so we got everything shuffled here. Now let's get into this. And draw 5, as in we're going first. Hang on, I have this mirrored. Hang on a minute. Alright, here we go. So what we're going to do first, because we probably have to here, is... This is tricky. Yep. So what I have to do here is... Send Benton, Special Summon Gamma. So now Gamma's on. Since I sent Benton, we're going to get a fairy straight from deck. And I've got the Diviner. Or the Herald of Ultimiteness. This is very easy. Okay. Then you're going to... see. Actually, I think I've done that backwards, didn't I? Yeah. So I've done that backwards. So in order to get into that, let me show you how you have to do this. First, what I have to do is I have to normal summon the Diviner. Just act like that didn't happen, and we'll talk about that here in a second. So you're gonna send the Herald of the Arclight to the graveyard. Herald of the Arclight's effect's gonna activate, and it's gonna pull the ritual spell. Now we're gonna act like that all this is non-negatable, you know, the whole deal. Okay, so we got menace Drytron, which is very good. So now we've got that. We're going to go ahead and just activate Benton. We're going to get Gamma back out there like before, where we've already gotten the Herald of Ultimiteness. Don't have to worry about that. So from here, you don't really have many choices at this point. So what you're going to do is you're actually going to use old buddy Gamma here, and you're going to get out the Herald of Ultimiteness in defense mode. Now you don't really have to worry about anything because you are well protected, because we do have an angel in hand, or a fairy in hand. So with that, we're pretty good. The only thing you to be concerned about would be your Diviner here, but at this point it's not really that big a deal, so it's not worth really fretting about, because you've got, again, you've got the Herald out, you've got a negate in hand, because I'm going to reread this card, so I've got the effects right, and they're accurate to you guys. Okay, it says we're going to avoid the ritual summon. It must be ritual summon, so you can't get it out of any other way. When your opponent would special summon a monster or activates a spell or trap card or a monster effect, you can send one fairy from your hand to the graveyard, negate the summon, special summon, or activation, and if you do, destroy that card. So
Herald of ultimiteness can basically get rid of everything on board. There's nothing really you can do. So that's into turn 1. You don't really have to do anything. We pull into terraforming. Go ahead and activate terraforming. So you can get Fafnir. So you're gonna get Drytron Fafnir. You're gonna go ahead and activate Fafnir. It's gonna search for. Let's see, did I have that in my hand? No. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna grab Drytron Nova. So now that we have Nova, very, very good. So then you're going to go ahead and you're going to activate Nova. The one you're going to go for, you're going to look for Alpha Thubbin. Because he is your go-to here. Because you can get your ritual spell back if you need to. It's not that hard. I'll show you how to do that too. Okay, so what you're going to do here is you're going to go ahead and pop this off. You're going to get rid of Vitatin. Your herald's going to go up to 3,000, and you're going to supposed to summon Thubbin, and you're going to get another ritual monster on the deck. Trying to make sure it didn't decide any others. No. Okay. And you're going to pull Queritus. Queritus is your Harpy Feather Duster. He's the one you want first, and then you can follow it up with. I guess it just depends on the situation. If you've got, like I said, I've got them both in hand. So I mean, if it's just situational, really. Depends on what situation you run into. So what you're actually going to do here is, what I do is you're going to activate menace in the graveyard. You're going to target Thubbin. He's going to drop to 1,000. Then you're going to pop off Gamma to get rid of Thubbin on that, and he's going to special summon back Thubbin, so now they both have 3,000 attack, and now you have your ritual spell, but you don't have to proceed with that. You could go into Drytron Alpha or Drytron Beta, like this, and then what he's going to do is he's going to send a Drytron monster to the deck, to the graveyard, from the deck. So you're going to send Audubon. Audubon is one of your most important monsters that you have in the graveyard. So now you're going to get rid of Queritus, which this is where you want him, because you can pop off effects this way. And now we've got Audubon on, effect is activated, because again, you really can't do anything because I got Herald of Ultimate that's on. So he's going to pull your ritual spell. See, I've never had a bad hand with this deck. Like, I tinker with it, you know, for like the locals, but whenever I run it in this style, I just don't brick. Like, everybody's like, it's like, well, Drytron's a brick. I don't have that luck. Like, they just don't brick with me. So then you're gonna get rid of this. Use both materials off of his effect, and you're gonna special summon your Harpy Feather Duster. So now you're setting up pretty good. And what you're going to do now is you're going to pull some shenanigans here. Let's see, activate his effect, yeah. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to activate menace Drytron on Audubon. And you are going to go into Benton. Put it in defense mode. Doesn't need to be an attack. Yeah. So with that being said, you're pretty good. That'll go to the graveyard. And you could actually, in turn there, actually, yeah. But what I'm going to do, for the sake of the video, is to show you guys how this works. We're going to link these two off. Send it to the graveyard. Okay. Now, we're going to get another fairy. We get the artifact Lancia. Because at this point, you can pull any fairy. We're just trying to load our hand. That's what we're trying to do here. So now I've got another fairy in my hand. That's what we're trying to do. Okay, you're going to end turn. You're going to draw for turn. Okay, then you're going to go ahead and you're activate Cyber Emergency. This is where things can get a little crazy and where you really need to pay attention. So now we have to pull Altaz. So now I've got Altaz, right? No, we're not doing bad. So what I have to do here is I've got to send Altaz in order to get Thubbinal. So you want his effect to go off, definitely. So he's going to get another search in turn 3. Again, these could get negated, but if they go uninterrupted, this is what it's going to look like. Okay, so now you're going to get rid of Dragnus for Altaz. Now, you can activate Altaz's effect by revealing your ritual monster. You draw 1 card. And as you can see, I drew into Rostabon, which is not a bad thing to do. So from this point, what you're going to do is you're going to make something a little bit of a pain in the ass here. Now we're going to go into a second Xyz monster, which is going to be a pain for a lot of people. Because if you know my combo, then you know what's coming here. So what we do now is you're going to send Dragnus. So now we have 2 Dragnus in here. And you're going to put on Audubon. Go ahead and target Mubeta. Mubeta does not matter to me at this point. So now I'm into this. Now we're going to activate that on this for Idleton. Remember, you can't negate ritual summons. So I'm always going to get this. This is added back to hand. Since Audubon was summoned, I can't resummon it, but I can put on Gamma. Both of these get powered up, so now he's over 4,000, and I can switch him into attack mode because I'm not really worried. Because any effect you have, I can just negate. So then what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and activate Menace Drytron for another time, sending Gamma to get your Benton back. Then you're going to go into a link 3 for the Phoenix and him. Send them both to the graveyard. You're into link 3, and I'm adding another fairy. Just for security reasons, we're going to add the Herald of the Diviner. As you see, I flooded most of my deck. So now I've got 2 fairies in hand with a loaded board. At this point in time, you're sitting pretty good. Your Diviner and your Lancia can be used for material from the ultimiteness. So this is again a pretty good one. That's basically what you can get in turn 3 with this deck. Let's say, just for the sake of this, let's say I go into main phase. Actually, I gotta do this first. Say it battle. There we go. We got Zeus. We're gonna move beta off of that. Dragonic Future. Okay, we're allowed to do that. Dragonic Future is a negate. Herald of Ultimiteness is a negate. He stops monster effects. He stops anything. Except for the 3 cards I mentioned. Because they cannot be negated no matter what you do. But as long as you have fairies as your resource, you can do this all day long. I did have Rostabon. I could have used him to even furthermore power up. But it would be basically a waste of time. But I think you guys get the gist of where I'm going with this. Really, you have to know what you're doing and how you're trying to do it. It's a big thing with Drytron. You have to know the cards you're playing. You have to know your combo. If you start using this deck and you really don't understand how it works, give it time. Don't play this deck in a tournament. Because this deck can screw you up. I'm telling you. For me, when I was trying to learn this deck, I didn't even know where to begin. Because it didn't make any sense to me. You know, it's because the wording is tricky on this deck. It really is. I'm not gonna lie to you. because it literally says you can only special summon this card with an effect of a Drytron card, which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense until you read every card and it tells you, well, you can get rid of one or a ritual monster in order to special summon this thing. And you're like, oh, okay, well that makes somewhat sense, which is very difficult in the least. Okay. So, I mean, I'm set up for success here yet again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of menace for Rusty. I'm going to activate Drytron Fafner. I'm going to get my Nova off of that. Activate Nova. Again, we're talking about uninterrupted shit here. So, you don't really worry about a whole lot of things right now, because you've got ritual monsters. So what you do is you'll go into Mubeta Fafner. And now, you're not going to sing Gamma. Gamma's not a bit least concerned at this point. The one you really need is you're going to need all the Bond to the Graveyard, because he's the ritual spell puller. He's the one you want. Okay. So now that we're here, we got to send Dragnus to get all the Bond out, to get our ritual spell in the first place. So we'll go ahead and we'll get our ritual spell on that, which is a smart idea. Very good idea. Okay, so now what we can do here is you're going to activate Dragon Eclipse. You're going to add one of your Dragnus back to hand. So go to the graveyard. That's a really good spell. I'll explain it here in a minute. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and use this material to get into the Dragnus that is in the graveyard. Okay, so now we're there. And the Dragnus that is in my hand, we're going to send it so I can get Thubbin out. And then Thubbin's effect will go off, giving me the Herald of Ultimiteness. Again, we're wanting to get into him as fast as we possibly can. But in this sense, because that goes to the graveyard, right? Yeah. In this sense, we're not going to do that yet. Now, we've got him. We can use him at any time. But what we're going to do here is we're going to go into the lure list. So, now we're into her. She battled this turn. We're going to main phase 2, go into Divine Zeus, and we'll jump straight into Utopic Future, Utopic Dragonic Future, so that we can negate stuff and still have good effects, and nothing can be negated ritual-wise. So we're good there. We'll go to draw for turn 2, and we draw into the artifact modular. We'll get rid of the herald of ultimiteness in order to get Rusty out here. So we got Rusty bound out, and what we're going to do is we're going to target Dragnus to get that back. Thank you. And we're going to go ahead, we're going to activate this on Rusty to get the Herald of Ultimiteness up. So now we got that out, and we're good to go. Because now we have one negate in hand. For whatever I need it for, we have Dragnus here to negate one monster effect. And we have Dragnus here, which will hit. He can swing into every single special summon monster. And he's also got the banishment effect, which he currently cannot activate. I mean, he can, but he really can't, so it's a waste of time. So we want to draw for the third turn, and we pull into Alpha Thubbin. Ditch Thubbin. Get into Rusty. Come off of Rusty. Go into Thubbin. Thubbin will get another ritual monster. In this case, you're going to go for... Is that the one I was wanting? Good go, Idaton. Out of 10 is the better choice here. There's not really much you can do because at this point you've got the game. You don't really have to do anything. Yeah, at this point. At this point, you might as well just ride the train. So, and there's not really anything you can really do. The only thing I will do, I'd target Dragoness at this bag, so I can jump into shit. Where's he at? Hand. Out of 10. And then and that's pretty much it, dude. You don't really have to do anything after that. Because I do have the ritual spell back, but there's really nothing you can go into unless if you negate. And we got another negate there. Again, that's another instance of where this is ready to go, and you know the monsters are here. That's a faster way to do it. I'll show you guys one more combo with this deck. Again, it's basically just the same combo over and over and over and over, but there's different ways to do it. See, that's the thing. Most people, they'll tell you, "Oh man, this is an FTK combo, blah 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 blah." They are full of shit. I will be the first to tell you. Drytron is an FTK combo all in one. It just keeps you from doing anything, really. And that's what I specialize in, is keeping you from doing anything. Like when I play an opponent, I want to try and shut you out and make sure that I can win the game. Because I've got the heavy hitters and I've got the negators. And I have a way to make my not heavy hitters into these big heavy hitters like the Herald of Ultimiteness. Herald of Ultimiteness originally has 2,000 attack, but if I keep using Eye to 10 every single turn, by turn 3 he's got over 5,000 attack. Which, when he's negating stuff, makes him a little too OP for personal taste. So again, let me show you the hand I just drew, just to show you that I never brick. And you guys have watched me do this the whole time. This deck does not brick. I don't know why people say it does, but it just don't. This deck does not brick. Gamma, Audubon, Ritual Spell, I've got 2 of them, Cyber, Thubbin. I may do this. This is all day long. Ditch, Thubbin, Effect. No, I don't want you. Let's go Herald. Because I do have one in hand. Now I've got the Herald. Ditch the Herald for Gamma. Gamma brings back Audubon. I don't want to do this. I know what I want to do. Let's watch this. I'm gonna go Mubeta. Effect. Send one Drytron card to the graveyard. We're going to send Altaz. So now I'm into that. Nope, almost dropped the card. Let's see, why did I send it to the graveyard? Oh, I had to, that's right. So with that, you're going to get rid of Audubon. Go into Altaz. Altaz's effect. Reveal, draw 1. We can keep doing this all day long. I'm telling you. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to do the most maniacal thing, and you're going to go bam and bam. You're going to take him off for the Herald here. And you're going to remove his material for Dragoness. Now, if you're confused on how I was able to do this, you can use this ritual spell card as many times as you want. The only thing you can't do is bring it back. You can only bring it back 1 time per turn, which at this point You don't really have to try too hard. We'll go turn 2. I'll go ahead and draw. I drew an Audubon. And I'm just going to set this back up again. For Thubbin. Like, with this goes uninterrupted, this is trouble. You're going to ditch Itaten. And you're going to go Gamma. See, no, not Gamma. Altaz. Okay, so now I'm going to Altaz. Now I'm going to activate Menace Drytron on Thubbin, dropping by 1,000. Add that back. I will reveal it for his effect. I will draw 1 card. Now I got Queritus in hand. Now I can activate. Let's see here. Hold on. I think I'm just gonna have to go ahead and try that and see if I can get it to work. Is that what I want to do? No. Hang on a minute. Go into Lyrilusk. Now you're into this. You don't really have to do anything. Sync Queritus for your Gamma. So now you've got 1 there. Ready to go. I have not added that card. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to take you off. Again, you can bump this up. You're going to go into Link Rebo. Then, so you don't have to activate that at all. What you can do is when we go main phase 2 after a battle phase, you go Divine Arsenal, bring Beta over. We'll go back into Dragonic Future. Now we have 2 negates. Again, we're set up for negates every time. Every single time. So we're going to draw for turn 3. So we'll hit the last turn. Ditch. And we will jump into... We'll go ahead and go Gamma so that I can show you how this works. Okay, so we're here. We're here. This is a pretty good spot to be in. It's not. You're not really gonna hurt anything at this point, so you might as well. Well, I am. Might as well just go for broke. Still got my 1 negate. Still got the 2nd negate. I still got, another. Well, I shouldn't have that ritual spell. Yeah, shouldn't have a ritual spell. But you see, it's just every single time. And as long as you're in this situation where you're going Dragonic, Dragoness, Queritus, Herald in 3 turns, there's not really a whole lot you can do, because once Benton starts bouncing on and off the field, he's got negates every single turn, whether if it's 1 negate, whether if it's 2 negates, 3 negates, whatever it is. And Dragonic Future, he's got his own negate, and so all he's going to do is detach the Drytron monsters, put them in the graveyard. Then I've got more cards to use to give the Herald of Ultimiteness here his negates, and I'm going to keep bouncing Itaten and Benton on and off the field, so I'm adding fairies and I'm powering up him at the same time. So there's not really a whole lot you can do, because I'm shutting down your game and I'm powering myself up at the same time. So as you can see, this deck is nothing to fool around with, because it is very fast, very quick, and it is meant to put you in the ground. The only how you stop this deck is with Imperial Order. And if you haven't heard, Imperial Order will be banned in the next ban list. So I don't have to worry about that anymore. The only thing I have to worry about is Forbidden Droplet, Dark Ruler No More, and that 1 Goblin Fang card. Because those cards I cannot negate with the Herald of Ultimiteness. It's the only cards I can't. And I will look for them to get banned pretty soon because of that. Because that is an unfair card in today's game. As you can see, this is normally what your graveyard would look like. It's not really a whole lot you can do, but it is what it is. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is my deck profile for 2022. What this deck looks like and how it runs is just like this in tournaments. This is what you can do with it. If you're confused on the Drytron archetype and the combos that you can do, this is it. This is exactly what you can do. All these moves are legal. I use them in locals and regionals. Why say yes? Soon it'll be world. You know, just anything you can do in order to do this. Because most cards are not going to be this potent. And if you decide that you're going to run cards like this, then you could be very, very good. But this is all the time I have for today. I'm Pierce Nation, and I will see you in the next video. Pierce Nation out.